Adjectives, autism, evidence-based practices, and the Montessori method in higher education. A teaching demonstration by Susan Reynolds, EBD 6246, June 25th, 2017. After this presentation, the viewer will have a greater understanding of adjectives in English, be able to place adjectives in correct order, be able to articulate how Montessori methods for language learning can be incorporated for EBD teaching for adults with autism spectrum disorder, and have a better understanding of the Montessori method for language arts, and especially with adjectives.
Maria Montessori was an individual who revolutionized education for children, especially the focus for young children. She's had many quotes. This is one of her more famous, which is, "The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, 'The children are now working as if I did not exist.'" Maria Montessori was an individual who revolutionized education for children, especially the focus for young children. She's had many quotes. This is one of her more famous, which is, "The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, 'The children are now working as if I did not exist.'" And as educators, I'm sure we've all had those moments where the class is just so engaged and engrossed in what they're doing that you could fade into the woodwork and they would continue on. What is the Montessori method? The Montessori method is an educational approach developed by Italian physician and educator Maria Montessori. It's characterized by an emphasis on independence, freedom within limits actually, and respect for a child's natural, psychological, physical, and social development. The Montessori method is based on a constructivist model where students learn concepts from materials and manipulatives rather than from direct or teacher-led instruction. In other words, learners are in an environment where they can construct their own learning. Specialized education materials are used to give the students hands-on tools for them.
Montessori said, "Follow the child." If we observe a child, we can see what they need.
I think every parent just wants a school where their child can do their best. I think if a parent has a child with special needs, more than anything, I think they just want to make sure that their child will be included and accepted, and that the teacher will have the tools to be able to meet their child's needs.
Many of the children Maria Montessori worked with as she developed her teaching method could very well have been autistic, as she worked with children with severe learning disabilities. 3 evidence-based practices that I will be focusing on for this lesson include modeling, which is the demonstration of a desired target behavior, peer-mediated instruction and intervention, PMII, which is used to teach peers working together, and social skills training, which is to help learners work appropriately with others. Children in a Montessori classroom can work on their own if they wish, but they will all interact to some degree with each other. The typical Montessori classroom is also built on 3-year cycles. For example, lower elementary is 1st through 3rd grades, upper elementary 4 through 6. Dr. Montessori's idea behind this method was that older children can become facilitators for younger children This is a direct correlation with the evidence-based practice of peer-mediated instruction and intervention. There are several Montessori customized teaching aids. All of the subjects, science, math, writing skills, are introduced and taught using handheld manipulatives. This is parallel with the EBP of modeling for both visual and kinesthetic learning. The use of the sensory and hands-on materials are also suitable for individuals or autistic learners who may be sensitive to non-language sensory stimuli. Everything in a Montessori classroom has an exact location. The classroom order itself, with everything having a right place, helps maintain predictability and regularity for learners, which in turn can lead to feeling safe and secure. Students also learn about organization by how they pick things up, things go specifically back to where they need to, and where they can get them out later if they want.
In grammar, Maria Montessori came up with a series of geometric shapes to represent language. And the Montessori grammar and language is definitely not your grandmother's. Parts of speech using the Montessori approach start with using simple geometric shapes. The color and the size are all very important and have a specific determination as to what part of speech they're referring to and how you use them in a sentence. They also, in detail for the upper elementary students, there are word functions and key functions. For example, the big red circle is always the verb. The big black triangle is always a noun. A smaller blue triangle would indicate either an adjective, or if it's a light blue triangle, very small, it would indicate an article. Simple sentence diagram using the Montessori language materials starts with the big red verb circle right in the middle, and then students can place, these are physical items that the students can move, and they begin to see where parts of speech go. Writing using the Montessori method, you can see in this example breakdown here where they put the symbol above each word that they are using in the sentence. And the student example here is showing exactly what they learned to do. They copy the sentence and then they start coloring in the different parts of speech and with the geometric shapes that they respond to. In this lesson, the focus is on the adjective. Adjectives in English generally occur in a specific order. However, this order is not written in concrete anywhere, so there are variations of what can be moved around where. The order that they come in starts with a quantity or a number, quality or opinion, size, age, shape, color, proper adjectives. These are usually such as Italian shoes or Italian food. They're going to be giving a nationality here. And then a purpose or quantifier. In a sentence of the Montessori. Coordinative adjectives come in a special order in a sentence. So in English, if we say the green old ball, or if I say the old green ball, which one sounds better? First one. The green old ball or the old green ball? Yeah, the adjective's before the noun, but which one's correct? Green, old, green. Green, old, green. Old green. Old green. Because in English, adjectives usually come in an order. Now, this is not 100%. Okay? It's not 100%. And in English, we usually only use 3 adjectives. Otherwise, too many, too confusing. adjectives, the students were working on being introduced to what kind of words go into what category, and then how would you put them all together in a sentence. These are some of the different adjectives the students were working with in a video you'll be seeing in just a moment, where they had to take 4x5 index cards, and on the back of each one was responsible for writing 5 adjectives, just random, that they wanted to do. And then the idea was that they would sit in groups and sort these adjectives according to characteristics, where did they fall into the categories, and then put those adjectives as best they could into a sentence. Within Montessori, students are often working on the floor on a rolled out rug, and they've got all of this space around them where they can work as they need to. They're not confined to a table, even if it is a large table. So I had my students do that as well. I've been using Montessori writing language techniques with them in learning how to form a simple paragraph and different sentence formations. So in following that tradition, the students were asked to put their adjectives on the ground, on the floor, and start sorting.
He's a black.
That's okay.
He's a black.
How you guys doing?
Let's go to organize first.
Come, let us organize some
Okay. Now, use as many. Music?
Yes.
That would be quality or opinion for that.
High. But high is positive of low.
Opposite of low. But that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so what did the man do? Finish the sentence. Finish the sentence. What did he do? You're just telling me I don't have a verb.
In conclusions, I wanted to end with, this is the language, excuse me, this is the language, this is the intricacy of writing that students are learning through the Montessori method. And as you can see, this sentence in front of you is a different way of diagramming than what many older learners have learned back in the day, so to speak. And the students are learning, where do independent clauses, where do dependent clauses join together. But this colorful presentation is a much more hands-on structure that the students can physically move around rather than just moving around and using an eraser to switch words around. Physically move around rather than just moving around and using an eraser to switch words around. By the way, can you figure out what the sentence is in completion?